Today, I'm going to take you inside the boring ass sales funnel that took my company to over $1 million a month and helped us do well into the nine figures in cash collected. I'm going to map the whole thing out for you piece by piece right in front of you. And I'll warn you right now, the most shocking thing about this machine is how boring and simple it really is. I'm Russ Rufino. This channel is about how I built an AI powered $100 million coaching company that fits in a backpack and what I learned scaling our business past $1 million a month. I love my wife. I love my life. Hopefully, you can learn something from all this. Of course, your results depend totally on you. Like always, we're going to look at this two ways. I'll give you the tactical how to, but then I'll also give you the spiritual upgrade that makes it all actually work. Let's dive in. The front door of this machine is the ads. We run paid ads, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And when we're really pushing it, we'll do 200K, even 300K a month in ad spend and do about a million, 1.5 million back. There's nothing magical about it. It's just math. But that means that what I'm about to tell you was learned and paid for with real money and real blood, sweat, and tears. Our ads now, our ads are kind of boring, and they're kind of boring on purpose. And when I say boring, I don't mean they're not compelling. I mean they're boring relative to the kind of stuff that would go viral on like TikTok, right? No skits, no trending audio, no dancing, nobody jumping out of a Lamborghini. It's just me talking to a camera. And the format we use for about 90% of our ads is PAS: problem, agitate, solve. So let me take you through it. You start out by describing a problem that your audience is dealing with right now that is top of mind for them. Then you agitate. You tell them why that problem is so costly and so painful if they don't fix it. And then you hit them with a hook for your offer and tell them where to go if they want to learn more. So for example, let's say you had a marriage offer, right? Like a marriage coaching offer. Your ad might go something like this. I just got off the phone with a husband who told me something shocking. He and his wife have not been intimate in over 2 years. And every single time he tries to initiate, she turns him down flat. Okay, so there's the problem piece, right? We just stated a clear problem that our audience might be dealing with. Then we have to agitate that problem. So I might say something like this. Now, I don't know about you, but this is one of the worst situations that a guy can be in. I'm going to tell you what I told him. If he doesn't turn this around within the next 2 to 3 months, he's either looking at he and his wife being roommates for the rest of their lives, or he's staring down the barrel of a 6 or 7 figure divorce. You see? So we describe the problem our audience is having, and then we agitate it. And the way we do that is we future pace the consequences of not fixing it. Now, in this case, we're doing it by telling the story of somebody that we just got off a call with. You see what I mean? An ad like this seems spontaneous. It seems totally organic. It seems like I just literally got off a coaching call with somebody who was in that situation. And I grabbed my phone and I shot this video because I just had to tell my followers about it. So nothing fancy, no dancing, no skits, no trending audio, no craziness, just real, authentic honesty. And the less it looks like an ad, the better. So now we've done the problem, we've done the agitate, and we show them the light at the end of the tunnel. Now I know that's not what he wants. And if you can relate to this guy's situation, I know that's not what you want either. So if you need help fixing your marriage, I got a free masterclass happening today where I will show you the 5-step game plan to save your marriage in the next 8 weeks, even if you're the only one who wants to. No matter how bad things have gotten, even if she's got one foot out the door, even if she's already filed for divorce, just click the link around this video, get signed up, and you'll get instant access. Check it out. You see? So what I want you to understand is the underlying persuasive structure that's in play here. Again, we start by mentioning the problem. Then we agitate the problem. And we do that by future pacing the consequences of not solving that problem. And then we tell them that we have the solution and we tell them exactly what to do next if they want to get their hands on it. Problem, agitate, solve. Got it? So just based on that simple structure, you can create literally 20, 30, 40 different ads to target your audience. You just stack different pain points. You pick different pain points every single time, different facets of the problem that you solve, and you plug it right into that structure. Make sense? So what's working right now is simple ads that don't feel like ads at all. And that's honestly, that's actually been true for as long as we've been running ads. So over the years, we've tested, funny ads. We've made ads that were really hilarious. We've made ads that, featured beautiful women or people that are like way more interesting than me. But ultimately, the ads that perform best for us in terms of conversions are just super simple, authentic, talking head, right into the camera. And that's great news for you if you're on a limited budget because those ads are the simplest to make. You just pick up your phone and start talking into it. Now, another thing to bear in mind is that if you have a specific audience that your offer is for, you have to say that. Because the way that Facebook works now is very different than the way that it worked, a year ago, 2 years ago. Back then, you used to choose a lot of interests and targeting options. So you basically had to tell Facebook exactly who to target inside the ads manager. But now, Facebook just listens to what you're saying in your ad, and based on what you're saying, it decides who to show your ad to. So you have to call out your target audience in every single ad you create. Otherwise, Facebook is not going to know who to show your ads to. So, like if you want rich people, you want to say that. There's this guy, John Madsen. Maybe you've seen his ads. He's an ex NFL guy, but he's got a fitness offer that's currently doing somewhere between 2 million and 4 million a month because he is specifically saying,
if you're not a high net worth businessman or executive, or a man who makes it the bare minimum 150 grand a year, respectfully, what I'm about to show you is not for you.
that is for wealthy men who make over $150,000 a year. And because he says that in literally every single ad, that's exactly who Facebook shows his ads to. So, a lot of people think that the job of the ad is to get as many clicks as possible, right? Get the highest possible click through rate. And that's actually wrong. The job of the ad is to get the right person to click for the right reason. So, an ad that's like too clever or too cute can backfire. So, I'll give you an example. I happen to be married to a very beautiful woman. This is her. Best wife ever, best mom ever. She gets hotter every year. So my marketing team had the bright idea. Well, Russ, people might be tired of seeing your face in these ads. Why don't we put Sarah in some of our ads? She's your wife, so it's relevant. Maybe people want to see that. And those ads that we put Sarah in got the highest click-through rate of any ads we've ever run. But the problem is that people were just clicking because they saw a hot blonde, right? So they just clicked like a reflex. It's not because they were interested in what we were actually offering. So the moral of the story is keep it boring, keep it simple, keep it clear. Say exactly who it's for, say exactly what you're going to do. And you might be wondering, well, Russ, why do you rely so much on paid traffic instead of organic, right? Organic is free. And the truth is, we do organic marketing too. I mean, I'm literally doing it right now in this YouTube video. But the problem with organic marketing is it's not consistent. So you can't really control the flow of traffic like you can with paid ads, right? So with a paid ad, I can calculate my exact cost to acquire a customer. I can decide how much I want to spend, exactly how many clicks I want to drive, exactly how many clients I want to enroll. But with organic, you're even more at the mercy of the algorithm, right? So I'm making this video. Either people are going to care about it or they don't. That's it. So organic is more of like a long-term play. And over time, this YouTube channel, it's going to build momentum. It's going to get more subscribers. It's going to get more views and so on and so on. But that's probably going to take some time. But I could literally drive 1,000 or 10,000 clicks to my offer with a Facebook ad today, guaranteed. So paid is like a dial that we can turn up and we can turn down whenever we want, depending on how much traffic we want. Organic is more like an asset that compounds over time. And you really need to be doing both. In 2026, you've got to be doing both. But notice something, whether it's paid or whether it's organic, both of those traffic sources are all pointing at the exact same next step. So everything in our world funnels into one place. So here's where we're at. We've got a simple problem, agitate, solve ad. It's speaking exactly to the person we want. It's getting the click. So now what? Now we take them to the piece that does the heavy lifting. So when somebody clicks our ad, they don't go to a sales page. They don't go straight to a calendar ever. They get invited to watch a free training. That's a simple presentation that we call a masterclass. And it's somewhere between a video sales letter, like a 10-minute video sales letter, and a full-blown webinar. So it's about 30 to 35 minutes long. And what's great is that this is a presentation that does about 90% of the selling before they get on a call with someone from my team. So if you're doing sales calls and you're getting a lot of resistance around price, or people need more time to think about it, it's probably because you don't have a masterclass or presentation that's doing 90% of that heavy lifting on the sale for you before they ever even get on a sales call. So like I said, we've done over $100 million in revenue. That one presentation, that is the centerpiece of all of it. So pay attention. So what are those 30 minutes engineered to do, right? And why 30 minutes? Well, what we're looking for is we're looking for the optimum balance. How much content does someone need to consume before they're ready to get on a sales call and actually make a high ticket purchase. So, like I said, we've tested shorter VSLs, right? That's a video sales letter. And this is what most people in the high ticket space are doing. And we still test them every so often. But what most people are doing is they're driving traffic to a video that's maybe, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes long, and then inviting those people to book a call. Now, the problem with that is that when we've tested this, so many people show up to the call and they're just not nearly pre sold enough. So with a video sales letter, you get, who are you? What do you do? What is this again? I don't remember booking this call. It's crazy, right? People literally did not remember scheduling the call in the first place. And then on the other hand, we've tested sending people to like longer videos, webinars that are an hour long, 2 hours long, 3 hours long in some cases. And those are great. But the truth is, in order to set up a high ticket sale that happens on a call, you don't need that much. It's like it's overkill, right? I'm not trying to sell a 10 or 15 or $20,000 program, right there on the webinar, right? Which is really hard to do. All we're trying to do is to get them to book a call for the right reason and then be pre-sold and excited to talk to us. And so what we found over the years is that about 25 to 30 minutes is really that perfect sweet spot. Now, what do we talk about for that 25 to 30 minutes, right? What are we doing? Are we teaching? No. That's a big mistake that people make. What we're doing is not teaching. What we're doing is shifting beliefs. So there's 5 things that people need to believe before they're really ready to get on a sales call with you. Number 1, they have to understand the outcome that you provide. Number 2, they have to understand the costs of not achieving that outcome. So in other words, what's it costing them every day that this problem goes unsolved? Number 3, they need to understand why everything they've tried in the past to solve this problem has absolutely not worked, and frankly, why it was never going to work because it's an old, outdated way of fixing the problem. And then when they understand the old way of doing it doesn't work, then 4, they need to understand why your way is the new way and it's better and it's different. And then 5, they need to know exactly what to do next. And that's it. That's the whole belief system. And the masterclass checks all 5 of those boxes as quickly and efficiently as we possibly can so that by the end, the right viewer isn't sitting there thinking, oh, that was an interesting video. They're thinking, I need to talk to these people. I got to talk to them now. So they feel heard, they feel understood, and they feel like they know why you are the one that they need to work with to solve their biggest problem. And what's great about the masterclass is it's basically one and done. So you record it once, and then you just drive people to it from paid and organic, and then you just let it cook. So most of our highest level clients have actually been running the same masterclass for like 4 or 5 years before it starts to get stale. So it's pretty set it and forget it. All right, so at the end of the masterclass, that's when we invite them to book a call. Only now, like 90% of the work of the sales call has already been done. Again, when we send people to a short VSL, no shows are through the roof, close rates go down. But when we send people to a masterclass, we get a huge show rate. People show up committed, they show up ready to do the work, they show up knowing exactly why they're there and exactly why they're talking to us. Now, what about production value? Because people always ask about this. Does the masterclass need to be fancy? No, it's actually got way less production value than the video you're watching right now. So like I'm paying a professional editor to edit this video and do the motion graphics and stuff, but we do not even do that with our masterclass. It's literally just a simple keynote presentation. That's it. So the magic is in what we say and how we say it in the actual structure, because we have to flip a lot of psychological switches in our audience's mind. But when we do it in just the right way to just the right person, it becomes a client attraction machine. So if I lost everything tomorrow and I got to keep just one marketing asset, that masterclass is the one that I would keep. People ask me all the time, Russ, what should I build first once I figure out my offer? And the answer is this. It's always this. Building these masterclasses with our clients is a huge part of what we do, because when this one asset is right, everything else gets easier. Okay. So let's look at where we're at now. You got an ad, it's pulling the right person out of the newsfeed. You're sending them to a masterclass that's installing all these beliefs and it's warming them up, and it's doing that at scale. It's running all day, every day while you sleep. The right people want to talk to you. So then the next step is the application. Now, especially in the coaching industry, in the professional services industry, people get really superstitious when it comes to the application. You make assumptions that seem logical. So for example, and maybe people have taught you this, on your application, you should ask a question like, what's the revenue level in your business, right? And you assume that somebody who's doing, between $0 and $10,000 a month is going to enroll at a lower rate than someone who's doing, $50,000 to $100,000 a month. That's totally logical and it totally makes perfect sense. The only problem is it's not true. So we've had well over 100,000 people apply to work with us over the course of running clients on demand. And as soon as AI came out and kind of Claude and ChatGPT got really good, one of the first things we did was do a really detailed analysis. Is there a correlation between what people say on an application and whether or not they actually enroll? And I thought for sure we would see a correlation, right? People who make more money should be enrolling at a higher rate because they can afford it, right? But when we actually ran the numbers, we found that wasn't true at all. Why? Because people lie. There was zero correlation between what someone said on the application and how likely they were to enroll. So rich people actually said they had no money. And then less rich people like to front and pretend that they were, they wanted to flex on the application and they lied. And what's crazy is our very best clients, sometimes they didn't fill out the application at all. So in fact, years back, at one of our events for our highest level mastermind. And this was people doing, 6 figures a month or more, because that's who that program's designed for. We actually pulled everybody in the room's initial application. And this was funny because most of these people had been with us for like years at this point. They didn't even remember filling out the application in the first place, right? This was like years ago that they originally applied to work with us. But you know what we found? And this is crazy. The people who had spent the most money with us over the years, I'm talking about people who had spent, $500,000, $600,000, $800,000 to work with us over the years, about half the people in that room either didn't fill out the application at all or just filled it out with like a bunch of gibberish. So imagine if we had gotten those applications and we just threw them out. Imagine if we had canceled those calls. We literally would have missed out on millions of dollars in revenue from just the couple dozen people in that room. So the takeaway for you is, yes, you want to have an application so you have some idea of what's going on, but be very, very careful about canceling calls just because they seem like they're not a fit, because people lie on the applications. And busy people who are your best customers, they don't really have time to fill out a big application. And honestly, they're the ones that you want to work with the most. So they fill out the application, and then and only then do we take them to the booking page to actually schedule the call. All right. Now you might be wondering, well, Russ, why do I have to do a sales call at all? Can't I just send people straight from my webinar, straight to an add to cart button where they can buy my program for $5,000 or $10,000? The answer is, I don't know, maybe, but here's why we don't do that. So number one, you will enroll a lot more people by speaking to them than by just sending them to like an add to cart button. And you can probably sell, a 5,000 or 10,000 or 15,000 or $20,000 program on the back of like a 3-day event or a 5-day event. People do that all the time because they spent a lot of time with you. But on the back of just like a 30-minute masterclass, getting them to click an add to cart button and just drop 10 grand is a really heavy lift. Okay. And two, I believe that as coaches and experts, it's our job to get people results, right? So I'm not going to take $5,000 or $10,000 from someone unless I know I can get them an incredible result. And I know that they're going to positively contribute to the experience of everyone else in the program. Okay. This is really important. Specifically, we're looking for people who are coachable, decisive, and resourceful. People who are fun to work with, who are positive, people who are going to uplift the entire group. And if I just send people straight from watching a webinar to like an add to cart button, I have no way of screening and knowing who they really are or whether I can help them. And by the way, you've got to be very careful about the way you handle those sales calls. Trying to hardcore close people or put them in an objection box or put them in a little decision box or put them in a decision tree or doing any kind of nonsense where you are trying to pigeonhole people into making a questionable decision is ultimately going to be toxic to the long-term health of your business. And I've seen so many of our competitors go out of business because of this. The purpose of an enrollment call is to set up the future business relationship. It's to get you and your client 100% in sync about the work you're going to do together and why that work is so important. It is not to take away their power and force them into buying something they don't need. What you're actually trying to do is empower them to make the best possible decision for their future. Anything less is toxic to the business relationship that you're trying to set up. So you can be the best closer in the world, but if those people wake up the next morning and they regret their decision, it's going to come back to haunt you, I promise. And I'll do another video in the future where I'll break down the frame we use on the calls, the entire call structure, and really give it to you in detail. We've done a few videos about that already if you look back in the channel, but ultimately, The goal of these calls is not to sell something. It is to help people make the best decision for them, not necessarily a decision that I want them to make. Okay. So that's the whole funnel. Real simple. Ad, masterclass, application, call, new client. That's it. That's like 4 or 5 steps. And the reason we keep it that simple is because the simpler it is, the easier it is to diagnose what's not working. So we give our clients, when we set up these funnels for our clients, we give our clients really clear KPIs for exactly what to look for, right? So the ad should get this many clicks at this big of a price, at this much of a click-through rate. This many people then who should sign up to watch the masterclass, and then this many people should make it to the end of the masterclass, right? This many people should book a call, and then this many people should enroll. And then based on the performance of the traffic going through that funnel, it's really easy for us to find the bottleneck and then fix it. So that's the sales machine that powers our entire business. And that sales machine has produced well over $100 million for us. And there's something about this process that attracts the best clients in the world. I mean, maybe we've just been lucky, but the people that we've been blessed to work with over the years have been so cool. And running this business and helping them succeed has been an absolute joy. All right, so to recap, the ad, that's the front door. It's simple. It's calling out the right person by name. It's problem, agitate, solve. Then we bring them to the masterclass. The masterclass does the selling. It installs those 5 beliefs before we ever talk to them. Then the application and then the call. When you put those together, that's our funnel. That's the machine that turns clicks into clients every day. That's the whole machine. It's simple, it's boring, and it works. And as always, I have something cool for you. So in the last video, I don't know if you saw it, I talked about the 4 bottlenecks that are keeping people stuck below $1 million a month. And I actually have an AI tool that will audit your business to help you find out which of those are your bottleneck and tell you what to do about it. And on that page, I've also put a more in-depth funnel map so you can kind of see how this all fits together with follow-ups and automations and different things, okay? So click the link in the description of this video and you can get your hands on that totally for free. And now we come to the most important piece of this whole video. Here is your spiritual North Star as you scale your business. And again, the reason we talk about this from a spiritual or mindset perspective is that all the tactics and the fancy marketing stuff in the world are not going to help you if your consciousness is not aligned with success. Your business, your life, your relationships, they are a reflection of your most deeply held beliefs. And we have to look at every problem on 2 levels, okay? The tactical how-to level and the belief or spiritual level. So here's what I want you to get. I just showed you a $100 million client attraction machine, and it's like 4 steps. It's not complicated. So why don't you have something this simple? Every decision you make in your business is made from faith or from fear. Building a high ticket offer and putting it out into the world is an act of faith. Setting up a funnel, even a really simple one like this one, is an act of faith. Starting an ad campaign, hoping that it's going to pay off, that's an act of faith. So the question is, what would you do today if you had absolute faith that your business would succeed? What would you launch? What would you create? What's the transformation? What's the impact that you would make on the world if you knew you couldn't fail? The best advice I can possibly give you is to decide what you want and then act as if it's already reality. But look, that's so easy to say and so hard to do. This is what separates the people who succeed from the people who don't. Because any idiot can set goals, right? Any fool can make a vision board. But having the courage to do what you would do if those things were real and actually live from that new reality is damn scary. So when I quit my bartending job to start my online business, I, believe me, had been doing affirmations and visualizations and all this stuff for like 5 to 10 years. I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. Thank you so much that I'm a millionaire. And then one day I woke up and I said to myself, well, if I were really a millionaire and I really believed all this stuff that I'm telling myself every day, what would I do? Well, I would go and quit my job, wouldn't I? Right? I would go for it. And that's what I did. So do what you would do if you knew you could not fail. And you might be thinking, well, look, Russ, I did take that leap of faith. I hired that marketing agency. I hired that coach. I hired that mentor. I launched that funnel and it didn't work. And if that's the situation you're in, believe me, you have my sympathy, okay? Because God knows I've hired a lot of coaches and a lot of mentors and a lot of agencies that completely sucked and absolutely dropped the ball because they just didn't know what they were doing or they weren't good people. And I've done that, I'm telling you, at least a dozen times. But here's how I look at it, right? Let's say I go to some kind of sort of shady place and I buy a Rolex, right? I go to a store, I buy a Rolex, I get home and I find out, oh my God, this Rolex is fake. Well, what's the cure for buying a fake Rolex? Is it to never buy another watch again? No. It's to go out there and go to someplace reputable and get the real thing. So all I can do is shorten the learning curve, right? You have to believe in yourself and in your gifts enough that one day you simply decide to stop playing small, right? You decide you're worthy and you decide to go for it. So if you want me to shorten that learning curve, I'm absolutely happy to help you do that, like we've done for like 6,000 plus other coaches and experts over the years. And there's basically two things we can do for you. We can take the expertise you already have, we could turn it into a $5,000 to $15,000 coaching program that you can run from anywhere in the world. And then we can install our $100 million AI powered client attraction system right into your business. The same system I've been telling you about in this video. So if you like this idea of having a very simple funnel with an ad going into a masterclass, into an application, into a call, and then getting a new client, each piece of that funnel, as simple as it is, has to be executed perfectly. And that's why we want to just do it with you. So if that sounds interesting to you, again, there's a link in the description of this video. You can click that link. It'll take you to another page. I'll walk you through the whole thing so you can decide if this makes sense for you. And lastly, we release videos like this once or twice a week. So tell me in the comments, what does your funnel look like right now? How many pieces is it? Is it too complex? Is it not complex enough? And is there a specific piece that you're stuck on? Like maybe people are booking calls, but they're not showing up. Or maybe they're not booking calls at all. Or maybe your ads aren't getting clicks. Whatever it is, tell me. And then I can make a video about it and I'll tell you how to fix that problem. Okay? I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.